Hi, and welcome to Camille's Country Corner. I am Camille, and on today's episode we will be making some apple streusel muffins and some apple crisp. Let's go ahead and show you what we need for this very first recipe. We're going to start out with the muffins, but first don't forget to hit that subscribe. Definitely hit that like button. All right, let's get baking today. I have recently made a trip to the apple orchard, so we will be using some apples today in these recipes. I have, of course, some apples for our apple streusel muffins. We have some flour, a couple of different sugars, baking powder. We need some butter, 1 egg, cinnamon, vanilla, salt, and some milk. Let's put this together. Okay, let's get started with this recipe. In this bowl, I have 2 cups of sugar. We are going to add about ½ teaspoon of salt. We need 3/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. Three teaspoons of baking powder. All right, then we're just going to mix this up. We're going to set it aside. We're going to work on our wet mixture now. All right, I forgot to show you, we are going to be using some oil, or you can use applesauce here if you don't want to use the oil. So we will need ½ cup of vegetable oil, canola oil, whichever oil you prefer. And then we will need 3/4 cup of milk. I am using evaporated milk here today because that's what I have. Hardly ever have regular milk in this house. Nobody drinks it. Okay, or you can use apple cider here and bump up the apple taste. And then 1 egg. I'm just going to mix this up. Go ahead and mix in all of our dry ingredients. We're just going to mix this till combined. You don't want to, and you know what I forgot to add? Our vanilla. Don't forget, you need 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Never too late to add it. All right, as I was saying, you don't want to overmix muffins because then they won't be as tender as you'd like them to be. Kind of just like a quick bread, you just want to mix it till combined. All right, now I'm going to fold in our apple. We are only using 1 apple here. The apples that I have bought at the orchard, I did a U-pick apple, and I have wine sap apples. They are a cross between, they're a little bit tart, so it's kind of like a Macintosh met Granny Smith, and it's somewhere there in the middle. It's a nice tart apple, and it holds up well when you're baking. All right, let me get my cupcake liners, clean this up a little bit, and we'll go on to the next step. Next up, we are going to make our streusel topping. So I have cubed a ½ cup or 1 stick of butter, and I used cold butter, and I used salted. So I'm not going to be adding any extra salt. I just added ½ teaspoon of cinnamon. We need 1/4 cup of our brown sugar. I'm using dark brown sugar here, I think. That's what I have today. It's usually what I buy. I just like the taste. It's got a little bit more molasses in it. And then ½ cup of flour. All right, and then with my trusty pastry cutter, we are going to cut in the butter into the streusel until it resembles pea-size pieces. And it's going to take a minute to do this. So just be patient. Meditate, maybe. Think happy thoughts. If you don't have a pastry blender, you can always use 2 knives. This is what it's supposed to look like. You can also use your fingers for this as well, or you can use 2 forks, doesn't matter. All right, so what I have here is, this makes 12 muffins. So I am going to use my scoop, my ice cream scoop, and we are going to fill these 1 scoop each. I have bought these cupcake liners at Amazon. I will try to link that below. They work so well for muffins because when they puff up, they just stay inside the paper. All right, I have a little bit of extra here, but I've made a couple of these a little bit shy of a full scoop. Okay, now we are just going to top our streusel. We're going to put our streusel on the top of our muffins. Probably about a tablespoon on each one. You can also add nuts to your streusel topping. Today I'm just doing the regular. I have my oven preheated at 375 degrees. We are going to bake these about 18 to 20 minutes depending on your oven. I'm probably going to rotate the trays around halfway through, and then I will bring you back as soon as these are ready, and I will show you what our finished product looks like. See you back here in a minute. All right, for our next recipe, we are going to make the apple crisp. So I am just dicing up, not actually dicing, I'm going to cut the apples into slices and then cut the slices in half. So a little bit over 1 inch, maybe 1.5 inches. I have done that with 6 apples. And again, I am using what I got from the orchard, which is the wine sap apples. So let me just finish cutting up the apples. It is officially fall, so we can actually make all of these wonderful fall time desserts and recipes. It's probably still about 80 degrees outside, so a little bit warm still. All right, let me get rid of my cutting board. All right, to my bowl of apples, I am going to add 2 tablespoons of just granulated sugar. Let me grab a tablespoon out. Didn't do that. And I am also going to add 1.5 teaspoons of lemon juice. I don't have fresh today, so we're just going to use our little lemon squeezy thing. And then we need about 3/4 teaspoon of our cinnamon. I'm going to go ahead and add a whole teaspoon here because we really like cinnamon. All right, let me go ahead and mix these up, and then let me get a different spoon for this. Mix these up, and I'm going to set them aside while we continue to do the next step. Same concept as the last one. We're just going to be making a streusel topping for this, but it's more of a crisp topping. So to this, we're going to add 1 cup of our brown sugar. And I have a 1/2 cup of butter already diced up, and it's 1 cup of cold butter. And I've just cubed it up. Okay. And then I need 3/4 of a cup of flour. And I need 3/4 of a cup of oats. I am just using the quick oats here, but you can use rolled oats. It doesn't really matter. It's all going to come out absolutely delicious. So use what you have, folks. All right, with that pastry blender again, I am going to just cut this in until, again, it resembles the small peas. So while I do this, let's meditate again. All right, I forgot to add my cinnamon. So I went ahead and added a teaspoon of cinnamon to my streusel topping, my apple crisp topping. All right, we are ready for our next step. Now we need an 8x8 pan or any baking dish that you want to use. I am going to use this one today, so I am going to go ahead and spray the bottom of it. Doesn't really need to be sprayed, but I like to take preventative measures always. All right, let's go ahead and dump our apples in. And then we are going to top it with this beautiful crisp topping. Just dump it all on and smooth it out. My pan is a little bit full here, so I'm going to kind of just pack it on here. All right, I have my oven preheated at 350 degrees. We are going to bake this for about 40 to 50 minutes. And I'll see you back here in just a moment. Okay, friends, this is what our apple streusel muffins look like when they are finished. They are beautiful. And here is our apple crisp. All right, shall we try these? They look delicious. This apple crisp is still piping hot, but we're going to go ahead and give it a try. Just plate ourselves up just a little bit, just enough. And look how beautiful these apple streusel muffins came out. I'm excited. I can't wait to try this. Grab a napkin because I'm messy. Let's start off with the muffin because that won't be as sweet as the streusel, the crisp. Nice and moist, not too sweet. They're delicious. They're going to be great for a breakfast or a snack for later. Now let's try this apple crisp. Now, if you weren't here, I would be adding a ton of whipped cream to this because I love whipped cream. Plus, I'm stalling because I know it's hot. Warm apple pie. Apple crisp. Either way, it is so good. It just tastes like fall, tastes like the holidays. I hope you try both of these recipes I'm definitely going to add some walnuts or pecans to both of these next time. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. Definitely hit that like button. I am sure glad that you stopped by here today and baked with us, and I can't wait to see you again. Have a good one, guys. Thanks for stopping.